In the early light of a foggy dawn, the abandoned stable stood silent on a lonely stretch of countryside, its broken windows reflecting a past filled with grandeur and sorrow. Within its dilapidated walls, a once majestic horse lay dying, its every muscle and sinew trembling under the weight of neglect and relentless time. The horse's flanks were painfully riddled with countless insects that crawled relentlessly over its fragile, decaying skin in a disturbing display. Every crawling insect seemed to symbolize the decay of a once vibrant life now succumbing to an inevitable fate of deterioration and despair. The stale air within the stable was heavy with the pungent scent of rot and desolation, carrying echoes of memories from brighter days now lost. In the distance, flocks of somber birds flew in quiet, mournful patterns, as if collectively grieving the loss of the noble creature. Shadows of old regrets clung to every weathered corner of the barn, reflecting a tapestry of forgotten hopes and lingering sorrow. A profound hush had enveloped the area, and even the softest breeze seemed to whisper in reverence of the tragic scene before it. Despite its suffering, the dying horse retained a regal grace in its final moments, exuding an air of dignified resignation. Its tired eyes, though clouded by pain and fatigue, flickered with a spark of enduring spirit that defied the encroaching darkness. The insects swarmed in a chaotic, yet strangely rhythmic dance, their relentless movements both disturbing and oddly poetic in nature. They tunneled into every hidden crevice of the horse's deteriorating flesh, as if determined to claim dominion over its final hours. The decaying stable itself resembled a mausoleum of lost dreams, where nature's cruel hand imposed the harsh realities of mortality. Beyond the confines of the barn, the surrounding fields bore witness to a bitter winter that had etched deep scars into the barren land. In the muted silence of that forsaken place, the forces of nature and decay intertwined in a solemn dance of inevitable demise. Every fallen leaf and weathered stone appeared to be complicit in the unfolding tragedy, silently recording the passage of time. The horse's labored breaths resonated like a final, fragile heartbeat in a world teetering on the brink of desolation. Once a powerful creature, it now lay as a somber monument to the relentless ravages of time, neglect, and unspoken sorrow. Dust motes danced slowly in the cool, dim light, each a tiny, shimmering witness to the profound sadness of the scene. Outside the crumbling stable, the expanse of land stretched wide and barren, indifferent to the silent suffering within. The ancient wooden beams creaked under the weight of memories, bearing witness to moments of joy that had long since faded. Every inch of that sorrowful space seemed to tell a story of love lost, dreams shattered, and moments wasted in quiet despair. The horse's once mighty hoofs, now powerless and still, rested silently upon a straw-covered floor stained by time. Its final moments were marked by an air of melancholic dignity that stood in stark contrast to the pervasive cruelty of decay. A subtle interplay of fading light and deep shadow played across its battered form, accentuating the profound sorrow of its end. Unperturbed by the agony it witnessed, the insects continued their relentless, ceaseless procession over the suffering body. Each tiny crawling creature added an immeasurable weight to the aura of loss that enveloped every corner of the stable. The entire scene evoked a deep, inescapable sense of mourning that resonated with anyone who remembered days of beauty and hope. Even the ancient timbers of the barn seemed to sigh under the crushing burden of memories and the relentless march of decay. A silent vow of remembrance hovered in the air, a solemn promise to honor the fading legacy of the noble, suffering animal. Despite the overwhelming onslaught of insects and decay, the horse's dignity shone through as a quiet defiance of its fate. Its evident suffering transformed into a silent testament to the merciless passage of time and the inevitability of demise. In that forlorn stable, the fragile boundaries between life and death blurred, merging into a single narrative of despair. The stillness of the morning was broken only by the soft, sorrowful sounds of nature, each note echoing a lament for the lost. Every element in that tragic tableau converged to create an atmosphere of profound resignation and haunting melancholy. The dying creature was rendered both a victim of neglect and a poignant symbol of nature's inescapable, ruthless course. Even the grotesque insects played their part in a natural order that showed no mercy, sparing neither living soul nor memory. Amid the pervasive decay, there lingered a quiet, somber beauty, a final homage to a once noble and vibrant existence. The crumbling stable, as if in mourning, stood as a silent guardian of memories that whispered tales of lost grandeur. In that poignant and heart-wrenching tableau, the dying horse's fading legacy was indelibly etched into the very soul of the land. At the break of another somber day, a solitary figure appeared on the outskirts of the forsaken estate, drawn by an inexplicable sense of compassion. The figure moved slowly, each step deliberate as if weighed down by the gravity of the silent tragedy that had gripped the land. In the cool morning mist, the wanderer's eyes were fixed on the crumbling stable, where the dying horse lay in its final, desolate repose. Unlike those who had long shunned the cursed sight, this stranger was propelled by a resolve that defied the pervasive fear of decay. The soft sound of boots on hardened earth resonated with quiet determination, each echo marking a step toward redemption. As the stranger drew nearer, an aura of solemn purpose enveloped them, setting them apart from the indifferent masses. Observing the relentless insects with an analytical calm, the figure discerned the profound sorrow that had taken hold of the scene. Every insect that clung to the horse appeared as a cruel testament to neglect, yet the wanderer saw the possibility of renewal amid despair. With a measured and gentle touch, the figure knelt beside the suffering animal, their presence a silent promise of compassion. The soft cadence of the horse's labored breathing resonated like a fragile heartbeat, urging the stranger onward. In that intimate moment, the observer resolved to restore dignity to the noble creature, despite the overwhelming infestation. A deep empathy stirred within the wanderer, fueled by memories of bygone days when kindness healed even the gravest wounds. Unperturbed by the grotesque swarm, the stranger's steady hands began to gently brush away the relentless insects. Each careful motion was imbued with hope, as if the very act of cleaning could summon a spark of life from the depths of decay. The air around them shifted, filled with a quiet determination that starkly contrasted the macabre dance of destruction. With eyes that shone through hardship, the stranger exuded a fervent resolve to defy the darkness that had once consumed the stable. In the silent communion that followed, the horse seemed to recognize the promise of aid, its eyes reflecting a fragile trust. The wanderer's presence disturbed the stagnant gloom, as if a long-forgotten melody of renewal had begun to play. Each insect clinging to the creature was delicately displaced by the tender caress of human hands, marking a small but significant victory. Though the task was arduous, the stranger persevered, steadfast in the belief that every life deserved the touch of care. With meticulous precision, the wanderer assembled a makeshift basin and filled it with cool water drawn from a nearby stream. The soft murmur of flowing water intermingled with the gentle rustling of leaves, creating a quiet symphony of restoration. A soothing cascade washed over the horse's battered flesh, gradually dislodging the insects that had claimed dominion. The swarm recoiled from the unexpected kindness, scattering like fleeting shadows as the water's cleansing power prevailed. Each droplet seemed to whisper a promise of hope, purging not only the physical torment but also the lingering sadness of neglect. The stranger continued their delicate ministrations with unwavering resolve, their every action a quiet defiance of fate's cruelty. With each measured stroke, a fragile bond was forged between the healer and the suffering creature, bridging worlds of despair and hope. The horse's uneven breaths grew steadier, as if the infusion of compassion had ignited a dormant strength within its weary frame. Slowly, the grim tableau began to transform under the gentle touch of human care, hinting at the promise of renewal. The wanderer's weathered hands moved with both precision and empathy, every gesture a silent ode to the sanctity of life. A palpable shift in the atmosphere suggested that hope was seeping into the very fibers of the decaying stable. Even the persistent insects seemed to hesitate, their frantic scuttling momentarily subdued by the miraculous intervention. The stranger's determination remained unyielding, driven by a deep-rooted conviction in the inherent worth of every living soul. With quiet resolve, the figure persisted in their painstaking efforts, each action imbued with a reverence for fragile life. The soft chorus of nature, rustling leaves, distant bird calls, and the murmur of water wove a delicate backdrop for the scene. As minutes passed, the horse's eyes began to clear, revealing a glimmer of life rekindled amid the pall of decay. The small acts of kindness steadily rewove the narrative of the forsaken stable, replacing the inevitable demise with emerging hope. Every moment became a testament to the transformative power of compassion, defying the relentless grip of neglect. The stranger's steadfast commitment rewrote the tragic script, planting seeds of renewal in the midst of desolation. In that quiet, resolute effort to help the suffering creature, a new chapter of compassion unfolded, its promise echoing far beyond the crumbling walls of the stable. As the sun ascended higher, its warm rays began to gently penetrate the murky depths of the stable, casting a faint glow on the scene of renewal. The stranger, now fully immersed in the task of healing, continued to work with a careful blend of patience and determination. In the light of day, every insect on the recovering horse appeared less menacing and more like a shadow of past decay. The horse, now bathed in gentle streams of light, shifted its weight slightly, as if acknowledging the touch of compassion. With deliberate care, the stranger inspected every inch of the creature's battered body, mindful not to cause further distress. The ambient sounds of nature grew louder outside the stable, hinting at a world ready to embrace a new beginning. A soft breeze wafted through a broken window, carrying with it the scent of fresh earth and the promise of rejuvenation. The stranger gathered remnants of old straw and fashioned them into a makeshift bed that could offer the horse some comfort. Each straw was laid with the same care, as if it were a token of hope laid upon a fragile soul. In the quiet moments that followed, the stable itself seemed to exhale a long-held breath of sorrow. The horse's eyes, once clouded by pain, began to mirror a tentative recognition of safety and care. The stranger carefully wiped away the remaining traces of grime and neglect from the animal's face, restoring its dignified expression. With each gentle motion, the past agony receded, replaced by a cautious optimism that only kindness can bring. The delicate interplay of light and shadow danced over the stable walls, creating a silent tapestry of hope and renewal. Outside, nature played its own symphony of rejuvenation, a quiet chorus that encouraged the healing process. The stranger's voice, soft and reassuring, filled the space as they whispered comforting words to the suffering horse. Every syllable was laden with empathy, bridging the chasm between despair and the possibility of recovery. The horse responded with a subtle flicker of its ears, as if hearing the promise of relief in the stranger's tone. The act of care transformed the atmosphere, turning a place once steeped in neglect into a sanctuary of tentative healing. Each measured step and gentle touch underscored a commitment to restore not just the body, but also the spirit of the noble creature. The stranger methodically applied a cooling compress to the horse's fevered skin, alleviating a measure of its burning pain. Gradually, the persistent hum of insects diminished as the horse's body cooled and relaxed under the tender ministrations. A soft murmur of approval seemed to echo through the stable, as if the very walls celebrated the slow return of life. The stranger's skilled hands moved with a rhythm that was both methodical and infused with heartfelt care. With every passing moment, the profound silence of the stable began to transform into a chorus of quiet determination. Outside, the world carried on in silent witness, the fields and distant trees attuned to the subtle miracle unfolding within. The act of healing extended beyond physical care, as the stranger's presence soothed the deep-rooted wounds of neglect. The horse's once labored breathing grew softer, more rhythmic, a silent testament to the power of compassionate intervention. In the interplay of human touch and nature's tender mercy, the boundaries of life and death blurred once more. Every gentle gesture contributed to rewriting the tragic script that had long defined the desolate scene. The stranger's resolve shone through even in the minutest details, transforming a moment of despair into one of profound possibility. The stable, once a silent mausoleum of loss, now resonated with an understated optimism that filled every dark corner. The warmth of the day, combined with the tender care, created a healing cocoon that embraced both the horse and its rescuer. Each careful action built upon the last, gradually constructing a fragile edifice of hope amid the ruins of decay. The horse, recognizing the relentless kindness, allowed itself to be cradled by the soft, soothing presence of the stranger. A delicate interplay of resilience and vulnerability was laid bare in the quiet communion between man and beast. In that sacred space, the creature began to reclaim its strength, inch by determined inch. The humble stable, witnessing this quiet revival, seemed to echo with a newfound determination to defy its own tragic past. Every moment in the fading hours of the morning reinforced the belief that even the deepest wounds could mend through compassion. As the day advanced, the stable stood transformed, a living testament to the healing power of empathy, where light began to conquer the lingering shadows of neglect. As the day edged into a gentle afternoon, the stable's atmosphere shifted further towards an air of tentative hope. The stranger, having established a rhythm of care, began to introduce small measures aimed at fostering lasting recovery. A makeshift shelter was constructed near the stable, intended to offer the horse respite from the harsh elements. In the soft glow of the afternoon light, the intricate details of the stable's decay appeared to be softened by the promise of renewal. The horse, now a silent witness to the transformative power of kindness, regarded its caretaker with a mix of curiosity and cautious trust. Every carefully measured gesture by the stranger seemed to restore a piece of the animal's fragmented dignity. The gentle hum of the afternoon merged with the soft rustling of straw and leaves, crafting a symphony of renewal. Outside, the fields stirred with the subtle movements of life, echoing the slow but determined revival within the stable. The stranger retrieved a worn brush from a forgotten toolbox, intent on removing the last vestiges of neglect from the horse's coat. With a steady hand, the brush swept through the creature's fur, each stroke a deliberate act of restoration. The insects, sensing the renewed energy in the stable, began to retreat into the hidden crevices of the decaying wood. As the brushwork continued, the once dull sheen of the horse's skin gradually revealed hints of natural luster beneath the grime. The caretaker's focused eyes observed every detail, ensuring that not a single mark of past affliction remained unnoticed. A quiet determination radiated from the stranger, filling the space with an almost tangible sense of possibility. With a newfound vigor, the stranger mixed a concoction of herbal extracts meant to soothe the horse's inflamed skin. The aromatic blend, drawn from nearby wild herbs, was applied with a tender precision that spoke of deep care. Each application of the soothing mixture was met with a subtle change in the animal's countenance, a silent acknowledgement of relief. The horse's breathing, though still labored, began to adopt a more measured rhythm under the calming influence of the herbs. Every careful movement was punctuated by the distant calls of nature, as if the world outside celebrated the act of healing. The stable, once burdened by the weight of decay, now resonated with a quiet energy of potential rebirth. A gentle smile, almost imperceptible, appeared on the stranger's face, marking a moment of shared triumph with the suffering creature. In the interplay of human compassion and nature's restorative gifts, the boundaries between healer and healed blurred beautifully. Each second of attentive care wove another thread into the tapestry of renewal that was slowly enveloping the stable. The once chaotic scene of despair was replaced by a meticulously orchestrated ritual of kindness and deliberate attention. The steady cadence of the stranger's efforts seemed to harmonize with the ambient sounds of the afternoon, creating a serene melody. The horse's eyes, now more reflective than pained, bore a spark that hinted at a rekindling will to live. In that shared silence, the creature and its rescuer communicated beyond words, united in their quest for recovery. The stranger, determined to leave no stone unturned, inspected every aspect of the stable for signs of lingering decay. With gentle care, worn tools were replaced by fresher ones salvaged from nearby abandoned structures. Each act of restoration was a reaffirmation that even in the midst of ruin, there could be a rebirth of life and spirit. The afternoon light shifted gracefully as the sun began its slow descent, casting elongated shadows that danced on the stable walls. In the shifting patterns of light and shade, the stable appeared less as a tomb of despair and more as a cradle of rebirth. Every action by the stranger contributed to the steady unraveling of the past's grip, unveiling a future filled with promise. The horse's body, now tenderly cared for, began to show signs of healing that transcended its physical form. Each new mark of recovery was etched in a silent pact between nature and nurture, a testament to the enduring power of care. The insects, once fierce in their numbers, had diminished to a distant memory, overshadowed by the resurgence of life. In this rejuvenated space, the creature's frailty was met with a burgeoning strength that spoke of a resilient spirit. The steady flow of compassion, like a quiet stream, washed away remnants of pain and uncertainty with each passing moment. Every corner of the stable, from the worn wooden beams to the scattered remnants of decay, was touched by the gentle hands of restoration. As the sun dipped lower, the stable and its occupants stood united in a quiet testament to the transformative force of unwavering kindness. As twilight edged into the fragile embrace of early evening, the stable held a quiet, promising air of rejuvenation. The horse, whose once desolate eyes now shimmered with a subtle glow, began to stir with a newfound strength. Every tender touch by the stranger continued to weave a tapestry of hope that defied the bleakness of its former state. The gentle murmur of recovery filled the air as the creature's breathing deepened into steady, rhythmic pulses. The stranger, ever watchful, observed every subtle change in the horse's condition with a mix of caution and optimism. Soft whispers of encouragement emanated from the caretaker as they recounted memories of healing miracles from days long past. The stable, now bathed in the delicate hues of evening light, seemed to exude an aura of calm that belied its former despair. In the distance, the soft chirps of crickets joined the muted sounds of nature, harmonizing with the slow beat of a recovering heart. The careful ministrations continued, as the stranger gently massaged the horse's limbs to awaken dormant energy within. Each stroke of the hand was deliberate, aimed at reviving both body and spirit while dispelling lingering shadows of neglect. The insects, once a relentless force of decay, had largely retreated into the crevices, leaving behind a sense of cautious relief. With every patient act of care, the stable transformed further from a chamber of sorrow to a sanctuary of quiet healing. The horse's eyes, now clear and observant, began to reflect an inner resilience that defied its grievous past. In the gentle interplay of touch and time, the animal's hooves, once motionless, stir as if yearning to reclaim lost vigor. The stranger's hands moved with practiced expertise, applying herbal remedies that had been gathered with meticulous care. A faint smile played on the caretaker's lips as the first signs of improvement began to reveal themselves in the creature's posture. The soft, rhythmic hum of nature outside seemed to echo the heartbeat of the stable, marking time in tender moments. Every drop of sweat and tears shed by the caretaker was a silent testament to the strength of compassionate resolve. The stable's aged walls, which had once borne witness to endless sorrow, now radiated a subtle luminescence of hope. Outside, the setting sun painted the horizon with gentle strokes of gold and rose, as if blessing the revival within. The horse's strength grew incrementally, each movement a quiet victory against the ravages of decay. In that sacred space, every heartbeat was celebrated as a reaffirmation of life's relentless capacity for renewal. The caretaker recounted silent prayers of gratitude for the miracle unfolding before their eyes, cherishing each moment. The distant hum of the natural world provided a comforting backdrop, as if urging the creature to persist in its recovery. With each passing minute, the stable's atmosphere became imbued with a gentle sense of promise that bordered on miraculous. The horse's gaze met the stranger's with a spark of understanding, a silent acknowledgement of the bond that was forming. In that quiet communion, the despair of the past began to yield to the tender persistence of healing. The caretaker adjusted the bedding, ensuring that the creature was cradled in comfort as the night approached. The diligent efforts extended beyond physical healing, nurturing an emotional revival that was equally vital. Every action, from a soft pat to a carefully applied remedy, reinforced the unwavering belief in the power of care. The twilight deepened, yet within the stable a soft, steady light of recovery continued to glow unabated. A quiet miracle unfolded in real time, as the creature's strength slowly reassembled its fragmented vitality. The stable's transformation was a testament to the possibility that even in the grip of decay, renewal could blossom. The stranger maintained an unwavering vigil, determined to see the horse fully return to the splendor it once possessed. Each careful, deliberate touch served as a reminder that healing was not merely physical, but an act of soulful redemption. The comforting presence of the caretaker imbued the space with a gentle resilience that quieted the echoes of despair. Outside the stable, nature's nocturnal symphony began to crescendo, harmonizing with the rhythm of the horse's revival. The persistent struggle against the remnants of decay was met with a quiet defiance that promised new beginnings. As the stars emerged one by one, the stable and its inhabitants stood as a living monument to the transformative power of hope. In that sacred twilight hour, the enduring bond between caretaker and creature affirmed that even the gravest wounds could heal through steadfast compassion. In the final vestiges of a hopeful evening, the stable exuded an air of quiet reverence as the day's labors came to rest. The horse, now visibly strengthened and revived, rested its head on the soft bedding crafted with unwavering care. A gentle calm had settled over the entire space, as if nature itself paused to honor the miracle of renewal. The stranger, exhausted yet fulfilled, surveyed the transformation with eyes glistening with quiet triumph. Every carefully administered remedy and tender gesture had contributed to a rebirth that defied the cruel inevitability of decay. The insects, once symbols of relentless neglect, had all but vanished into the shadows of forgotten torment. In their stead, a serene silence reigned, punctuated only by the soft, rhythmic breathing of a creature reborn. The stable's walls, once steeped in sorrow, now echoed with the promise of fresh beginnings. Outside, the last light of day melted into a starlit canvas that mirrored the gentle rebirth unfolding within. The bond forged between healer and animal stood as a silent testament to the transformative power of compassion. Each moment of tender care had rewoven the fabric of despair into a tapestry rich with hope and resilience. The horse's eyes, no longer dull with pain, shone with the unmistakable spark of revived life. In the quiet aftermath, the stable itself seemed to breathe easier, its ancient timbers resonating with renewed purpose. The stranger's hands, though calloused and weary, retained the warmth of a heart unyielding in its mission. A subtle smile graced the caretaker's lips as they recalled the long journey from decay to this serene revival. Every act of kindness had shattered the chains of neglect, replacing them with the unbreakable bonds of empathy. The gentle cadence of nature outside merged with the heartbeat of the stable, creating a silent symphony of restoration. In that sacred space, the cycle of life had come full circle, proving that even in the darkest hours, hope persists. The once forlorn creature now emanated a quiet dignity, a living monument to the redemptive power of care. As twilight deepened, the stable's transformation was etched indelibly into the memory of the land. Each repaired fragment of broken past was replaced with threads of renewed strength and quiet grace. The healing journey, marked by both struggle and perseverance, had culminated in this gentle, triumphant pause. Every shadow of despair had been chased away by the relentless light of compassion and steadfast determination. The stable, now a sanctuary of life, bore silent witness to the miracles wrought by mindful restoration. In the fading light, the horse stirred gently, as if acknowledging the sacred pact it had formed with its rescuer. The bond between creature and caretaker had grown beyond words, a testament to what empathy could achieve. Each small victory over decay served as a reminder that every living soul deserved the chance to flourish. The quiet night air carried whispers of gratitude, as if the earth itself celebrated this rebirth. With every heartbeat, the stable pulsed with the shared rhythm of survival and enduring hope. The gentle murmur of the wind outside intermingled with the soft sounds within, creating a lullaby of renewal. The stranger reflected on the long road that had led to this moment of quiet triumph over desolation. In that reflective pause, memories of past sorrows were gently replaced by visions of future promise. The stable's transformation was not just physical, but a profound healing of spirit that transcended decay. Every act of restoration had become a sacred ritual, reaffirming the value of every fragile life. The horse, now a vibrant symbol of resilience, lay quietly as if dreaming of endless possibilities. In the interplay of light and shadow, the stable told a story of redemption that echoed through time. The caretaker's presence remained a steady beacon, a living reminder that compassion conquers even the deepest despair. Each silent moment was a declaration that life, no matter how battered, could emerge triumphant through care. The transformative journey had come to a gentle close, yet its legacy would forever linger in the heart of the land. As night fully descended, the stable and its healed occupants stood united in an enduring testament to the redemptive power of unwavering kindness.